I'm Chris Erdman, and this is Made of More, the show where we go beyond business to uncover real stories that shape entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, we explore the pivotal moments, the adversity faced, the risks taken, and the resilience found along the way. This isn't just about what people have built, it's about who they've become. If you're ready for inspiration, practical insights, and stories that remind you that you too are made of more, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show, Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdman. And today I'm sitting with a great special guest of mine, Chloe May Lomenzo, who happens to be a friend of mine. And welcome to the show today. I'm going to do a brief introduction. So Chloe May is a soccer player, is an ex-professional soccer player. She played amateur and professional. We'll get into that quite a bit. She is a co-founder of Golden Nova Agency, where it's a business accelerator that supports consulting work and helps companies build infrastructure they need to scale for marketing, operations, and automation and fulfillment. She's much more than this, and we'll get into it right here. So, Chloe May, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy. I see you all over social media, and you're out there lifting weights with your crew, and then I always see you at some of the coolest networking events.
You know, I've been told I have some good taste, so I try to source them out.
Yeah.
After I learned the hard way, though. You had to go through a lot to kind of learn what the good ones are, but then you kind of get a tingly feeling, you get a sense of it, and those are the ones I like to really try to attend.
The ones that give you that tingly feeling?
Yes.
Yeah. The ones that give you that value. Well, I'm sure, knowing you probably at any event, and we've gone to a couple, that you really hone in and you can find quality people anywhere you go.
Yeah, that has been my observation as well. Interestingly, I've had a lot of people ask me about why or how I'm so good at meeting people. Mm-hmm. And it's made me think about it because when it just you do it naturally, you don't necessarily think of the process. And one of the things I realized is actually the thing I've invested the most in is my internal self.
Yeah.
And I'm big on frequencies and energy, and that exists scientifically. Whether or not somebody believes in it, I believe it's just there, right?
We're made of frequency and energy.
Yes.
It's really hard to deny that.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
But that's a big piece for me is I think we attract, people on our similar frequency. Mm-hmm. And so because I have invested so much on myself internally, it's just a matter of the external is starting to show that. And so the people that I've been attracting into my life over the last year or so, it's been incredible. You're a testament to that, actually. So.
Wow, I made it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We made it.
We made it. We made it.
Yes.
This really makes me want to rewind and dig in a little bit more. You're to me, you're a really special person, very insightful. Speaking of energy, I've seen you. You have mass amounts of energy.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from sometimes.
Yeah, well, it comes within. People are gonna check you out on your social. So I really want to dig in to who Chloe May is from the beginning, or from your younger years, wherever you want to start. What made you who you are today, and what values did you pick up along the way?
So I grew up with two people that were raised almost very traditionally in Connecticut, but they moved out west when my mom she graduated from Evergreen State College, if you're familiar.
Yeah. And
that's very, I don't know, I call it a hippie school. I grew up in Olympia, Washington.
Okay.
So she was very into gardening. My dad graduated from University of Vermont and studied agriculture. So they were, very close to nature and
ready to live off the land.
Living off the land. I grew up gardening. I remember we had 3 rows of raspberries. I'd go out and pick the raspberries. We had chickens. Mm-hmm. So it was very humble beginnings, but full of adventure. I never had TV or any of that. So it was I was a very imaginative kid. And I also had always went to alternative education, which was very foundational for who I am today. I went to a public alternative school, which was very interesting.
What does that mean for those of us that didn't go to alternative school?
Sure, yeah. It was we basically avoided mainstream curriculum as much as possible. We did have to take the state testing, but we had no grades. We were very lucky to have a beautiful big gardening again comes up, big native garden. We had a big vegetable garden, full size greenhouse that was incorporated into all of our classes or into our education throughout it. We had a science teacher, kind of imagine Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yes, we had
I thought you were too young for him.
No, not quite. So all of that was just very outside the box thinking. It was very focused on community. We also learned about movers and shakers every year. So I remember becoming aware of like what slavery was from a young age and like just what our history of our country is, which I found when I had actually switched over to public school,
Sure.
that wasn't really addressed properly. But because there was the teachers at the schools I went to, they really cared about like collectively what we were doing to like move the needle forward and like, you know, actually make some changes that they believed needed to happen. And so they wanted to incorporate that through the education. And that was very foundational for who I am today.
Wow, that's cool. Sounds like you really had hippie parents.
Yes.
And
yes.
you were saying that your dad was in a teepee for a little while?
Yes, that was interesting. He lived in a teepee for 8 years, and the only reason he moved out of a teepee was because my mom said, if you don't move and buy a house, then I can't stay over, because I was cold when I tried staying overnight. Mm-hmm. So he was like, I guess he wanted me to stay over.
He's a responsible dad, loved his daughter.
Yes, he did it for me, I guess.
Yeah, still sounds like they still spoke to each other even though they split up. And
yeah, I mean they got
along well.
They never had gotten married. They were high school sweethearts. Mm-hmm. Grew up both in Connecticut, which I also feel sometimes is funny. I've gotten people on the West Coast saying, "You don't seem like you're from the West Coast," which can be interpreted different ways. But I think I'm a very direct person.
Yeah, you are.
And sometimes, you know, maybe their association with people on the West Coast can be a little bit more indirect or passive. And so I always feel like I have a little bit of East Coast energy and West Coast energy, which I like that dichotomy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's knowing just a little bit more about you, having like hippie parents now and the alternative school. I would say to me, you come off like really grounded, bold and thoughtful at the same time. And
well, thank you.
And I've seen you in the crowds, and you really make everybody feel comfortable in your own way. And I don't even know that you're trying to, but I've noticed that you tell people, I see you.
That is really important to me. Mm-hmm. So that's cool that you recognize that. I, interestingly, actually, in like, I'd say middle school through early high school, I was extremely shy. So a lot of people think I'm extroverted, which I'm actually more introverted. I do enjoy connecting with people, but I need my recharge time. Right. And I actually had to like train myself or reprogram myself. I consciously started to reprogram myself when I was about 15. And I've been doing that consciously for the last over a decade. Wow. I'm not really sure exactly how I became aware of that. I will say my dad, something very foundational from my dad is he taught me that anything is possible from a very young age. I distinctly remember conversations when I was very, very young, like 3 or 4 even. And I would be like, well, you can't jump to the moon. You can't hold your breath forever. And he'd always say, yes, it is. It's possible. It's possible. And I think he just did that to really like make a point. And that like stuck with me my whole life. Like it was never that when I decided when I was younger, I wanted to play professional soccer. It was never a question if I could do it. It was just like, I'm going to do this and I will work to do whatever it takes to do that.
Wow. You know, what you're saying really resonates with me in a few different ways. It'd be interesting for you to dive in and try to explore what was that awareness at 15. At 19, I had a similar awareness and I decided to totally reprogram myself from who I was prior to 19.
Wow.
And it was just something that I knew I was going to do.
Yeah, it was intuitive almost, right?
Very, very intuitive. And I don't know that anybody ever told me this, but your dad said everything's possible or anything's possible.
Anything, yeah.
And ever since I was a late teenager, especially around 19 and up, I've always had this saying in my head, let's see what's possible. And so I'm just like that. I've always thought there was no limit besides just what we want to do.
I love that.
And sometimes it gets us in trouble.
Yeah. Yes.
But
yes, a boundary pusher.
I find like that we push ourselves probably past our limit.
Yeah.
Which are going to end up growing anyway. So I don't know that it's a bad thing.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing as long as we also are able to circle back and establish a balance. Because at least when I think I can speak for both of us, we're doers. Mm-hmm. So when you're a doer, it's definitely inherently a great thing. Yeah. But I find myself, like I've even had one woman, I remember back when I was 16, she said, make sure you don't combust.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Is that a hygiene thing or no, just joking?
I interpret it as like I have a very like kind of fiery spirit and sometimes I would honestly forget to like drink water back then.
Yeah.
She was more of like a spiritual person.
Okay.
So that's I guess where maybe it came from, but I ended up actually having, when I lived with my dad for 2 years. He lived out in Roy, Washington, which is, it's near Yelm, Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
So I lived in Olympia. I went to school in Olympia. He worked in Olympia, so we would commute 1 hour both ways. And one time, there was a week where I just kind of forgot to drink water, which sounds a little bit ridiculous. Actually, I'm going to have
a sip too.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. Well, it makes a lot of sense. If you're a fiery person or fiery personality or energetically, you're going to be utilizing a lot of energy.
Yes.
And that's something that, in my short time that I've known you, that you do. And from what I've heard about your past, you do quite a bit. So you're out there, you're always charging.
Yes.
And if you're charging, you need to refuel.
Yes, exactly.
And you could eat as much as you want, but if you don't have water,
it doesn't always work out, or it usually doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've been very conscientious about, especially since she said that. Because that when I ended up actually passing out and having a life or death experience, and when that happened, I would her words came back to me, and I was like, oh, this is what she means. Is you have to have a deeper level of self-awareness. Otherwise, you can literally just almost have blinders on and just charge, right? And I'm also a Taurus for what it matters. So I'm I have that bull energy with me in as well. Okay. So all those things combined is a very powerful combo. And I've been aware of my inner power since I was really young. But a big thing for me is modeling who I want to be in the world, because especially in America with the, the hustle mindset and, productivity and all those things centered around that, I think it's very, very powerful to just try to model presence and also self-care, because it serves as a reminder for everybody around you, that is equally as important.
Presence and self-care.
Yes.
So you weren't on this journey to become a soccer player. When did that start?
That started when I was 5 years old. Both my parents were and actually family. I come from a very athletic family. My mom did play Division I soccer. My dad could have gone Division I in a lot of sports. So I joke, I remember I had an interview in high school with the newspaper, and I said, I think it's in my blood. And interestingly, my mom was very unique in that she didn't actually want to push me towards anything that she loved. She was very adamant to try to leave as open of a slate for me to kind of direct my own life,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite uncommon from what I've seen. So I appreciate that about her. But despite that, I apparently kept nagging her in kindergarten about playing on a soccer team, and I kept nagging her, and she was like, okay, she's not gonna fight it,
Yeah.
So my first team was called the Lions, and
Lions. That was my high school that was my school mascot.
Really? Yeah. Okay, we were the Cougars.
Okay, we were the Cougars.
Big cats,
All right, we're the Lions.
That's actually, I have to point this out because this is such a crazy synchronicity. I'm currently building a fitness movement right now called Lions Club.
Really?
And I hadn't put that together till right now. So that's kind of a cool
We'll have to get into that. This fitness movement. Let's keep going on your childhood though, but let's
so
circle
soccer,
back
to be honest, it's nothing crazy. I just played my first season, and every year of every season, summer, winter, fall. Am I missing one? Winter, summer, winter, fall, spring. Since I was 5 years old, I played. It just became central to my life. I pretty much I remember being one of the most angry moments of my childhood was when my mom gave me a punishment where I couldn't go to soccer practice, and you did not want to see me.
The fire came out?
Yes. Came out of a lot of the ears, the nose.
Yeah. I can see you relive it as you you felt imagine right now.
Yeah, it was really important to me. It was really, it became it honestly felt like family to me, because my childhood wasn't 100% smooth. They were very young parents. I was an unplanned child, so they were doing their best with what they had. It wasn't we didn't have a lot of money, but they still had food and everything
that.
Of
course.
But they were navigating it as they were learning how to be a parent. And so I felt sometimes if the emotional stability or certain things weren't there, I think soccer became just my safe place. It became my routine and to let stuff out too. It was just my happy place, whatever it was there for me. And it was actually later on in life, I realized that if I wasn't growing in soccer or playing soccer, that was the only time I had some more extreme mental health issues or depression.
Right.
Was when I wasn't progressing. And so I actually then went through a whole process of separating my identity from that, so that I knew that I was sovereign in myself and not tied. My happiness wasn't tied to any particular thing outside of myself.
Sure.
And that took over a year to really separate myself from the identity, because it was without soccer, I really was lost.
So walk me through some of this, like, as I'm trying to imagine, what was this practice of separating yourself?
That's a good question. I mean, I think once I became aware of it, I just really, it was more so understanding that I could love something really deeply, but also just imagining the potential scenario of if something were to happen.
It didn't make who you were.
Yes. Like I had so much more to me, and also exploring what other things was I passionate about, and going deeper into other aspects of myself.
Right. So
yeah,
you weren't identified as the soccer player. You want to be identified as yourself.
yes,
And I think that's the biggest step, is awareness, that you're just saying. It's like, without awareness, we just keep slugging through. But as soon as we're aware, we are open and we have some sort of decisions that we can start making.
yes,
Even if we don't know what those decisions are, but maybe first just accepting it.
100%. And it's often the hardest piece. I don't know if you've observed this with other, especially adults. Older maybe a little bit, who have gotten like really kind of set in certain ways. But even like with their careers, sometimes I like to ask people a question like, what are you passionate about? I'll be at a networking event and I'll ask people, what are you passionate about? Just to kind of like circumvent the typical what do you do question. And it kind of takes people back sometimes. And they're like, some people actually like think about, they're literally so ready to tell you what they do.
And not what they're passionate about.
Yeah, and that's like so tied to their identity that then, but it doesn't mean that like what you do, obviously, or hopefully you have some passion in that as well. But it just kind of, I've gotten some very interesting responses. But have you observed kind of like how people's like identities get really, really tied to their career?
Oh yeah, in fact, even with my personality and awareness, I try not to tie myself to my career, but I can get tied to certain actions and what I'm doing, and it can really affect my energy if I'm working on a deal in real estate, and if it's not going through and I put a lot of time into it, it could really affect my energy, which means it's affecting like my attachment to that is maybe too strong. And so that doesn't happen too often, but I've noticed it sometimes over my career. And it's a good reminder to have an awareness, be like, I think I'm too invested
Right.
in this thought of this, because I'm actually much more.
100%.
I'm much more than this. I'm actually I'm involved in all these other things.
Yes.
But yet I'm not any of those things.
Yes.
Yes. We're going to go to break right now. This is the show Made of More. I'm Chris Erdman, your host, and we're here with Chloe May. Stay tuned back in after these messages, and we'll continue with Chloe May.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to discover remarkable stories of resilience and cultural connection? This is Diaspora, a show sharing the journeys of first-generation immigrants from the Indian subcontinent now building their lives in North America. Inspiring, insightful, and always engaging, Diaspora offers a unique perspective on the immigrant experience. Join me, Aditya Mehta, my guests, on the Diaspora Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on KKNW.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Alternative Talk 1150. Online at 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to the show Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdman, and we're sitting here with Chloe May Lomenzo. And I know her as the professional soccer player. I know her as this entrepreneur, this open-minded human being that's here to share and bring value wherever she goes. That's how I think of you, because it's wherever you show up within the friends that we have mutually. And then when I scroll by you on Instagram, it's like, wow, she's providing value and energy wherever she goes. This is a strong woman here.
Well, I appreciate the feedback because that is my goal. So
there you go. You're doing it.
Perfect.
At least in the moments that I see you. Yeah.
Keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Well, before we went to commercial, we were talking about your soccer career, and I just got to say, wow, there's so many lessons early on in your early years about soccer and awareness, and also that thought of attachment and like with soccer. It sounded like with soccer who you were, then you had to come to terms like you wanted to be your own, and soccer was something that you did.
100%
is how I interpreted it.
Yeah, pretty much. One thing that comes to mind in terms of lessons is I remember when I was, I think around 10 or 11, I think this is a natural human thing where you can have a kind of sometimes a harsh internal voice, and especially in sports, it comes out, right? Because you're always competing. And it was just when I made a mistake or something, I would just be so harsh on myself. I used to actually not even be able to take compliments. Like I'd be so in my head and internal that like if I played a game, I remember parents or something on the sideline coming to me after the game like, oh my gosh, good job. And I would argue with them and I would fight.
What would you fight? Would you say, hey, good job, Chloe?
I was, no, that was not a good game.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So hard on yourself though, right?
Yeah. And probably rude, but I mean, I don't know how they saw it, but in hindsight, but it was a
Who
kid,
knows?
so it's fine. And I remember I had a friend that changed my life, and she said, Chloe, you can just say thank you. That's their perception of you. And I was like, it was so simple.
How old were you when you heard that?
I think I was probably 11 or 12.
Oh, wow. I could totally relate, but I feel like I had the same lessons in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Where I could never take compliments.
But it's still been a journey since then, trust me.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like I snapped like this. It was just like the awareness piece.
The awareness. There's a light switch that just clicked on.
Light switch.
Okay.
Yeah, and then now it's evolved, and I think I'm way more graceful at accepting compliments. But it was quite a journey to get to that point, and I even try to inspire others to do it too, because you can see sometimes when people automatically are like, oh, they want to put the tension away, but sometimes like just reminding people like,
I think it's healthy to accept a compliment. It's like
it is super. Yeah,
they're giving you like energy.
Yes,
they're giving you good energy.
Literally, yeah.
It's so easy to accept bad energy. Like you're driving down the road, somebody flips you off because you accidentally cut them off. You get affected by that.
Good point.
But it's so hard for us to like accept, like for many of us to accept a compliment. Like, oh, yes, you look great today, or nice outfit. Or you did so well at this, and you were like, oh, I could have done better.
Yes.
But if you could just turn that light switch on and be like, let that sink in.
Yes.
And just say thank you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work for me to start doing.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody starts saying good job to me, it's like instead of being like, no, I could have done better.
Yes.
To switch it, to turn that off and just let that absorb in. It's like how that changed you when you started allowing it.
To add on to that really quick, I think it really helped that sink in what we're talking about when I understood that you saying thank you to somebody else is actually giving them something as well. You're giving them the ability to pass along like love in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, when it is a genuine compliment and not motivated by
it is a form of love.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't say thank you, guess what? You're rejecting them.
Exactly.
Or they might feel rejected.
You're right.
Yeah. Or at least a closed off version of who you might be.
And then you never know what doors that can open in the potential of a relationship.
Yeah.
Right. So all those little details. But
Like saying thank you is like paying it forward almost.
reciprocating.
Reciprocating.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good. So, I mean, I wanted to go when I was talking about my lessons when I was a little bit younger, along with the learning to accept praise, there was also my own internal dialogue. And that was I guess, maybe my first example I can remember of actually maybe doing some reprogramming, which was every time, and this also I remember taking maybe a good 6 months or so, every time I had something negative, like when I made a mistake with the ball or on the field, I would counter it immediately with something super positive. And I only did that like an extreme on the other end to like really try to get my mind like out of it.
Yeah.
And it would just be something like, you got it next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I made a bad pass, and slowly over time it became just natural, right? And not even conscious. And that I found affected like even just like in my business life too, outside of soccer, that whole dialogue is so important.
You're more likely to get it next time when you say you got it next time,
Right.
opposed to being like, oh man, you could have done better, or
Because I can create those like spirals, those
Darn
negative
me.
internal
Yeah.
spirals, which in people's like, regardless of sports, that is transferable, I think, in
all of life.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Wow, so many. You're speaking to me here.
Good.
You're speaking to me here. You know, I grew up in a house, and you know, our parents loved us, but there was like there was a lot of like harsh words and like harsh messages growing up, probably because of lack of awareness. And I found myself at around that age of 19 and beyond, like in this reprogramming and starting to open up books
Got you.
that spoke to me totally differently.
Wow.
And at one point I just said, this is how I understood. I was like, we're all brainwashed one way in life, some ways in life.
Yes.
And, you know, whether to like something or not like something, to like iPhones or Galaxies. So I decided, you know, I just came with this term. I said, I was brainwashed one way to believe things one way, and I'm going to completely brainwash myself the other way. And so I started opening up books, and eventually when internet came into play, like YouTube and whatnot, and there's a guy named Greg Pinio that we know, listening to him, Tony Robbins.
Brilliant mind.
You know, yeah. And the list just keeps going on and on and on. And for a while, and even still, almost daily, I listen to something that reprograms my brain to be stronger, faster, more spiritual, deeper thinking, more kinder,
Yes.
more open-minded. And whether it's for business or for spiritualness or relationships, like it's just, I keep programming myself every day. And there's some of them, like it's turned into like almost a reaction of this reprogram. Like all of a sudden, instead of that old voice coming in, this like Napoleon Hill voice, boom, comes right in, answers for me. I was like, whoa, what was that?
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm open to it.
Can you relate to that a little bit?
Yeah. Yes.
Sounds like that's what you're doing. I just want to share my experience.
I know. I love that. That's very relatable. I think we have quite a few things that are some parallels for sure.
Yeah.
There's one, I want to do one book name drop here, and to point out too, which I think some people are for sure aware of this. I don't know in the general public how many, but what you're talking about also affects us on a biological level. And I think that's really important to point out. My dad had me read a book in high school called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton.
Okay, I've heard Bruce Lipton.
Okay, yeah, he's a science biologist, and
Never read his book, though.
He's also quantum physics and different things. But his book is super amazing for just layman terms, you know, or like I wasn't like a genius or anything when it came to school, but very easy to understand, actually very entertaining, super easy read, but powerful to understand, just breaking down actually how, you know, you say mind over body. It's basically like breaking that down scientifically.
Yeah.
Amazing book. And so just what you're saying, to think about how, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but for whatever age you are to 19, that amount and how it's also affected you biologically is very, very powerful. Because, I mean, my dad, honestly, he doesn't have health insurance. I'm not saying I support or deny that publicly, but I do respect him in the sense that he truly believes in, like, he takes such amazing care of himself and how he speaks to his body with, you know.
The ultimate preventative health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's just really important these day and age, because, I mean, the stuff that's going into foods, and I really do want to like promote that. And that even connects back to the fitness movement that we're building, which is starting just with like training in the gym, but
Yeah.
we have the vision to expand that out to like many, many other resources and to be able to connect different businesses and uplift communities. And, that's behind it is like we have the pharmaceutical industry, but how can we leverage each other?
Mm-hmm.
And, when the tide rises, the boats rise with it. So we want to be able to create accessibility to all the actual preventative health and
Yeah.
naturopathic health
And building
measures.
community at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes even to like on the other side of financial things as well. It's not just internally, but then how does it also affect what have we been educated on and how can we actually get there's resources out there, but a lot of the time they don't know people don't know where to find them.
Wow, that's great. Well, love this. Like, I'm going to go to the gym after this today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. For some reason when I walked in, I was going to ask you if you went to the gym today.
Nope, need to go.
Okay.
Need to go. I've been kind of avoiding it a little bit since I've been finished up building this house. It's been taking a lot of my time.
Very fair.
But
Very fair.
next
Having worked in
week-
construction, I understand how consuming.
Next week it's behind me. It'll be finished, and
yes,
I can just
yes,
start
yes.
my routine all over again.
We can celebrate at the gym if you want.
That's right. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go to the gym with you. I've seen your squats. I don't know if I could do as much as you.
I don't believe you. But
Well, thank you for sharing a lot of your personal journey. And before we get out of the soccer phase, like, what's something that you've learned, like, about yourself that you want to share through this entire journey of soccer?
I think honestly what is the most powerful, and I think about this even in the gym all the time, is I don't know what my potential is. I don't know what my limits are because I've pushed my limits so far, so many times, physically and mentally, that if somebody was like, we need to keep going, like say sometimes I don't know, I'm one of those dramatic people a little bit where I'll like picture like a Hunger Games scene and like who I would be in the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Who would you be in the Hunger Games?
Honestly, I do really like Rue. I mean, I think I like to be very like sneaky, so I do kind of like her, like she's up in the trees,
Yeah.
I do think that was I like that, but at the same time, I think I would be up in the trees, but I'd be with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like tracking people, but then I'd be like a sniper in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are kind of, you've mentioned being a sniper in other areas of life.
I said that. Gotcha. I think
Yeah.
I took that name to heart a little bit.
Yeah. I think you're a sniper in business, I think. I think you're a sniper
the power of an
in
intuition,
in
the
networking. Like, you identify people when you go out. Now, this is something I think I've read or heard about you or somebody said, but you know how to pinpoint people whenever you're out in the community and you find somebody that is worthwhile investing in
Yes.
in that moment, don't you?
It's actually, it's like kind of actually a scientific thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like by chance,
Yeah.
but
Do you want to like
outline.
expand on that?
So when I go to a networking event, throughout the event, I mean, obviously they're all different formats, but let's give an example of one where there's like a speaker or a panel or something. I'm observing the whole room. So from the moment I walk in down to looking at what people wear, how people are presenting themselves, like carry themselves. Yeah, we're talking about posture, the speakers, right? I'm not so much somebody, I'm not a big status person, so I don't like, sometimes the person in the front of the room could be very valuable, but it could also, in terms of my metrics for that, it doesn't inherently mean if you're in the front of the room that you're maybe the most valuable person in my mind.
Meaning if you're on stage or?
Yeah, on stage, or like your, status in terms of you're a host of the event or whatever it is. My qualifications it's like I could love, I can notice a material of somebody's jacket, or I could overhear. I'm kind of notorious for this where I'll overhear conversations and
We call it eavesdropping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I've turned that into a tool.
Yeah, okay.
The eavesdropping is a tool. And I'll go, some people say like, I've had this, people ask me the question, how do you just like go up to people and talk to them so easily? Yeah. And I'm like, well, I already am going in with something in mind to say that I've made an observation about. And it could be something like, I actually overheard you say this and I think this is really incredible. And it just comes from a genuine place. It's like, when I go to somewhere, I'm not looking to connect with as many people as possible. I'm going for quality over quantity. And like, you'd be surprised that people don't find it weird when you eavesdrop.
No, people do not. Sometimes they're just like flattered.
Exactly. No, that's from my statistics.
Depends on the conversation.
Yeah, of course. But at a networking event, like, you could be walking by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even even also in terms of you want to stand out in somebody's mind, right? You're going to get a bunch of different business cards. You're going to see a bunch of different people. And so I'm always thinking about like, what's a way that I'm going to stand out opposed to somebody else? And when you say something very specific and intentional and genuine, not just go up, what do you do? Like, that's how you build those genuine connections that you can create depth very quickly.
Yeah. Look at them a little bit deeper. Like if they're, holding a book, what is that? What is that book? Is that something you're interested in?
Yes. Yeah.
Or I don't know what happens. Like you have great taste, right? You have great taste. You know how to dress, and you're like looking at people's fabric. What if the person on the other side of who's trying to do this has bad taste?
That's fair enough. I mean, they could have. This is a funny one. I made an observation that I've seen a lot of contractors with. I think they're called cloud sneakers. Do you know the cloud ones?
No, I don't know. What you're talking about yet.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I could be misspeaking, but I think the brand is Cloud. But I just have noticed a pattern that a lot of contractors wear them.
Okay, sneakers, boots.
They're sneakers.
Okay,
they're very comfortable. I've heard. I've actually never worn them. I'm
like walking shoes almost.
Yeah, walking shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not ugly sneakers though. They're kind of like sporty, cool looking ish.
Okay, Google this.
And so yeah, like I don't necessarily love them per se, but I remember I have like made a joke about like, oh, like, are you a contractor? No, or something like that. And you'd be surprised. Or one time I just was like, I saw somebody and I was like, I know they're an architect.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that guy's an architect. And I went up and I was like, he's like, I actually didn't pursue, but that is like my love. And I really wanted to pursue being an architect. And I did study some architecture in school, or whatever. But maybe that's not everybody's gift per se, but I definitely think that is one of my gifts is somehow I just have a sense.
A sense of, it sounds like you're a professional profiler.
Honestly, I did used to want to be like a spy. So maybe as a kid,
I could see that.
As a kid, I imagined that. So maybe it like played out some alternative way.
Well, I love this. I love that we've all gotten to get to know you a little bit. Like, obviously, you're funny, you're charismatic, you're thoughtful, and the list goes on. And we get to hear this through listening to your stories and your vulnerability. When we come back from the messages that we're going to go to, I want to dive into the entrepreneur you. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
I'm excited.
Well, stay tuned after these messages. I'm Chris Erdman, your host of the show Made of More, and I'm sitting here with our friend, Chloe May.
Whoop, whoop.
See you soon.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Chris Erdman. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I sit down with inspiring entrepreneurs, creative minds, and game changers to uncover the real stories behind their business. On my show, Made of More, we explore the challenges that they've overcome, the breakthroughs that they've celebrated, and the mindset that drives them forward. If you're ready to unlock your full entrepreneurial potential, Made of More is the show for you, because here we know you are made of more. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW.
Statistics show that roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. And each day, over 1,000 dogs are euthanized in shelters across the country. Canines for Warriors is the leading nonprofit organization providing highly trained service dogs to veterans with PTSD and other invisible wounds of war.
Hannah and I, since we've been together, we have done so much. There's nothing I won't do now as long as Hannah's by my side. Without Hannah, I'd probably still be stuck in the living room with the curtains drawn, with my back to the wall, with probably a gun on my lap.
The majority of service dogs from canines are rescues, and with each pairing, 2 lives are changed forever. We rescue the dog rescues the warrior. To learn more about how Canines for Warriors is saving lives at both ends of the leash, please visit caninesforwarriors.org. That's caninesforwarriors.org.
Wondering what's on next on Alternative Talk 1150? Check out 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to the show, Made of More. I'm your host, Chris Erdman, and we are sitting here with Chloe May Lomenzo with Lomenzo Consulting and also the Golden Nova Agency. And we were just talking about her childhood, her early years, and lessons that she's learned through her journey through soccer as an amateur and professional. So thanks for sharing all that.
I love sharing, so thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're really great. You've just been on 3 other podcasts lately, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm on a roll.
You are? What was the last one?
Last one was with Greg Pinio, the Greg Pinio podcast.
Oh, give him a shout out. What's up, Greg?
Yeah, highly recommend that.
Greg was on the show. I was on his show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Community, right?
Very great community. Now that we got to know you personally and your personal side and your lessons through life, I'm really curious in this last 18-minute segment. Tell me about your entrepreneurial side. What's driving you and where are you headed? What's going on? Where are you headed?
Sure. I think the entrepreneurial spirit has always been within me. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it came from, but it's just been there. And I feel like a lot of people know, when they're younger. Mm-hmm. I was actually on a meeting the other day, and we were laughing about this because this entrepreneur personal coach was telling a story about how he sold candy bars in elementary school. Mm. And I did the same thing. I had a black market candy business going in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And I was he said that, and I was I wonder if it would be an interesting study, a funny study to see if successful entrepreneurs as an adult had some candy business or some as early as elementary school.
I had a lemonade stand.
That's just a side note, but okay, yeah. I mean, I would count that.
Yeah.
It's a little more innocent, but I mean, that speaks to your character.
It wasn't dealing drugs.
Yeah. But I was back, the back of the bus gets a little crazy. But anyways, that's where my entrepreneurial journey started.
That's cool. And what grade was that?
4th grade.
4th grade?
Yeah. Yes.
Chloe, the entrepreneur, 4th grade.
Right.
My 4th grade was, I had a class with this teacher named Mr. Sondel. And prior to 4th grade, I was always a slow learner. Oh. I was always behind.
I relate to that.
And not included in a lot of things because of this stuff. Mostly probably because I was quiet. Mm. And this guy believed in me so much. I went from behind on math to doing 10th, 11th grade math. Oh, and then making drawings that were so realistic.
Oh, wow.
It was the most life-changing year of my adolescence.
Wow. You're an artist too. I love to. Yeah. Do you consider yourself an artist?
No,
really?
Not anymore. But I appreciate art, and I used to be a metal artist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like you're always going to be an artist.
Thank you. We'll see.
Okay.
2026.
Okay.
We'll find out.
So back to your question. Actually, I can kind of tie this in nicely with our previous segments because when I was going through, I guess I would call it an identity shift in terms of my separating myself a little bit from the soccer side of things. Actually,
and what year was it? How old were you?
That was a junior in college, so
right.
I would have been, I don't know exactly how old, 20
something.
Yeah, okay. 22.
Okay.
I think. And one of my favorite classes I took in college, I studied psychology and environmental studies, and it was a class called Strategies for Sustainability. Mm-hmm. And it was basically the intersection between business, economics, and environmental studies. And I found it very, very fascinating to look at that because we were looking at a lot of different countries and their kind of how they operated their governments and how it tied in with how it affected sustainability practices and tied in with business, all these kind of different overlaps, right? Mm-hmm. And it really got me thinking, and that's where I formed my first career dream outside of professional soccer, which was to be the founder of a sustainable business consulting firm. And I envisioned myself to be an expert on helping businesses come up with alternative business models because I think I just knew at the time, you always have the business model of, okay, you got to meet your bottom line, right? And it's growth, profit. Mm-hmm. And business, and I think profit has been very linked together. But if you actually break down like the definition of business, it's actually tied to purpose. And it's just that the way that business has been portrayed from a marketing standpoint and internally and how businesses have been built out has been linked to profit. And so that's from an academic standpoint, that's been very interesting to look at. And that's kind of led me to where I am today. I'm not the founder of a sustainable business consulting firm, but I am going full time. I'm just going through a career transition recently, and I'm never going back to a W-2. I'm 100% sure about that.
All right.
So I'm very happy about that. Although my years of experience I was a server at a restaurant while also exploring a lot of things, and then I worked in construction the last 2 years. I would not trade that for anything. Extremely valuable knowledge and experience and challenges, but now I want to tie all my experience and knowledge into being able to really help businesses be sustainable. And I think that's extremely critical now.
What does that mean, business be sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, because the only thing that we can guarantee is change, right? And so be sustainable in this context is what I mean, is be able to sustain through change.
Yeah, this big AI change right now is one of them.
Yeah, very significant, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty relevant.
It's happening.
Yeah. And there's something called, have you heard of the singularity sprint?
No.
Should
I have? I have now.
Yeah, you have now.
Yeah.
You should, I'd say.
Okay.
The singularity sprint just refers to, there's this period of about 5 years, although we're moving even faster than predictions in terms of the, AGI and ASI, artificial superintelligence. So there's a period of time where there's so much potential, so much opportunity, but because of the big players, aka, big companies, Google, OpenAI, etc., those windows of opportunity are going to eventually diminish. Yes. So I'm very excited, and I'm passionate about, especially in 2026, to like educate people, to try to bring as many people along, because the most millionaires are being produced right now. You have the most ability to become a millionaire right now. So essentially, my passion is just there's a lot of businesses that, truthfully, from my research at least, are going to get left
behind. They're going to get left behind.
You're going to get left behind, and you have to adapt and change to be able to sustain. That's where the sustainability piece comes back in. I am passionate as well about the environment, but truthfully, I always envision myself as a bridge between profit and sustainability in terms of environmentals. Aspects.
And that's clear. But this new mission of sustainability is clearly for being relevant now and exceeding beyond then, and maybe becoming one of the next millionaires.
Oh, not maybe.
Become. I totally understand where you're coming from. I just started a series of AI classes.
Cool.
I'll have to share some stuff with you later.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and something that I'm really passionate about. I did 3 hours the other day, hour yesterday, an hour today.
Okay, amazing.
So I'm just that it's a new meaning for sustainability. So good on you for caring about these business owners.
Yes.
And helping them create a path.
Exactly.
For sustainability to thriving.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, I might need to hire you to help with my marketing.
You know what? People have hired me before.
Okay, gosh.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't want W-2. I'm going to be a contractor.
That sounded pretty good.
Okay. So, all right, really good. This is through your business, Golden Nova.
Golden Nova is basically created to help with fulfillment. So personally, I love to go inside people's brains, go inside people's businesses, and really do like the analysis and figure out what their bottlenecks are, figure out like what are the tools that they need to be successful, what needs to be built out. That's what I love to do. I love to build relationships, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
But I'm not passionate about building the websites, building the automation systems. For those that don't know, like automation is just basically you can take a process, say you want to send out a weekly newsletter, you can automate that now.
But you're sounds like you're passionate about helping them get connected to the resources for that.
Yes.
Giving them the awareness that how to do it.
Yes.
And when to do it.
Right. And I think a big part of being an entrepreneur is just identifying a problem and then creating a solution. And so the intention behind this agency that I'm a co-founder of is that a lot of people, don't have the resources to basically, they're trying to sustain their business. They're trying to survive. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough market, and they don't necessarily have time to go do the research of all these different things. So if they're able to talk to a person, and we want to make our price points being able to be accessible to like small businesses as well, then we're going to be able to help more businesses be able to actually sustain through this period and hopefully, like make it through this singularity sprint as I was referring to.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I see people just starting to be left behind right now.
Yeah.
And they don't know it.
Exactly. That's the awareness we were talking about before. And that's kind of scary. I'm going to do another shout out right here. This is, if I could say literally one piece of advice, watch the podcast Moonshots. It's on all platforms. I like to watch it on YouTube. It's with someone named hosted by Peter Diamandis, MIT graduate. He has a couple of his friends on there. Some of the most genius, brilliant people that I've ever come across. He's very focused on tech and longevity science, but they do discuss, they kind of go over, they're essentially trying to have like positive news, or maybe not positive news, but real news. Like they just go through some different like big headlines and the information in the rooms and the tables that they're at. Generally that information would not hit the public for up to 3 to 6 months.
Okay. We're going to watch it.
Super powerful.
We're going to watch it.
Yes.
Better watch it. A few questions for you because we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. The show's called Made of More. And to me, clearly you're made of more. And that's why you were invited on the shows, because I could see that. And you've talked about it in many ways through here. But what does it mean to you, the term made of more?
Good question. I have to think about that one. What does it mean that I'm made of more?
Or whether you're made of more or just the term.
The term, okay.
In any context.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is you are enough. We are all enough. And I even seen people wear a t-shirt, you are enough. And that's very powerful in itself. And when you understand that you're enough, you don't come from a scarcity mindset. Come from an abundance mindset. And that's actually a big part of my reprogramming is abundance. Abundance. And that for me, when I hear made more, I think of abundance.
And your abundance mindset, that you have that awareness that you're moving forward on, right?
Yes.
And that you're also that abundance mindset that you had when you were a little girl, and you've had these awareness moments,
right?
Or accepting, looking back on our conversation, that you are now accepting praises and compliments.
Yes.
And now you've blossomed to this next venture of life with your leadership. You're wanting to make sure to give abundance to these business owners through sustainability and thriving.
Exactly. Helping people understand that you have enough to make it. You can be abundant. We can all be abundant.
Yeah, we could all be abundant. Next thing I want to know is how do you want people to find you or look you up, if you want that at all?
Yeah, I do love to connect with people, so please reach out. I would say LinkedIn and Instagram are great ways to start.
Yeah, what's your Instagram handle?
Chloe May Lamenzo.
Okay.
I changed it to that recently, so it was easier. And my LinkedIn is Chloe May Lamenzo.
All right.
Yes.
That's very direct.
Yeah.
That's good.
But try to keep it simple, right?
Yeah, a lot of these big Instagram stars are going back to their name.
Right.
Instead of this company name. So there you go.
Personal brands can be very powerful.
Okay, so they could find you on LinkedIn
and
Instagram.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah. And then do you have any websites you want to share at all?
If you look up GNA Operations, that stands for Golden Nova Agency, GNA Operations, GNA Marketing, and GNA Sales. We have those 3 different websites to look at some of our services that we offer. But honestly, I highly recommend just getting in touch with me directly and starting a conversation and seeing how I may be able to provide you value. Because like you said, I am genuinely passionate about that.
Yeah. If you don't follow her, that you need to now. And
Thank you.
Chloe May, I just want to say I could talk to you for days, it seems like. And thank you for being on the show, driving here, taking your time. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm really happy. I was like, when's our next episode?
Yeah, we'll have to do this again. We could do a Facebook Live or something.
Right. Actually, at your new house.
Yeah, we'll do it at the new house.
Yes,
that'd be great. We'll throw a podcast party.
Sounds good. I'm in.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chloe May. I'm your host, Chris Erdman. You're listening to the show Made of More, and again, we've been listening to Chloe May. Thank you.
Over and out.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Made of More on KKNW. Whether you're on the road, at the office, or listening from home, keep chasing what lights you up, keep building what matters, and never settle for less than the life you were made for. You are made of more. More purpose, more impact, more joy. Made of More is part of the Speaking Current network of shows and podcasts, all of which that are dedicated to inspiring listeners to build lives of meaning, connection, and value. You can find the Speaking Current network of shows, including Made of More, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Until next Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I'm Chris Erdman. Stay bold, stay inspired, and stay made of more.